Hi, my name's Emma. I'm with Z Prime, and I have the pleasure of meeting with Pat Hickey, who is Vice President of Sales, North American Sales and Segment Marketing at Eaton. Thank you for being here, Pat.
It's a pleasure to be here.
How have you enjoyed your stay in Austin so far?
Austin's a great city. I've been here many times, always love it. So whether it's the food or the music or, this thought conference, it's been great.
Yeah, it is a really fun city. And this is the first time that you've been to Energy Thought Summit. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what brought you here?
Sure, I am the lead for Eaton's utility sales vertical in North America. So the customers that provide energy, via the utility segment, that's my objective for Eaton. I interact with those customers and their clients to try to, provide solutions. Eaton's kind of vision of energy is we can help manage it to improve the lives of different customers. So I get to deal with the utility customers and that. And this conference, I'm always looking for new voices. Obviously, I'm not a millennial. I have three millennials in my house. I'm blessed with three great children. And, we talk a lot about, hey, what's the future look like? So I combine my work and my personal, and I thought this was really a good conference to get to know more about. And I was here yesterday, and it was a great first day.
Oh, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday?
There's always energy around these different conferences, and I think one of the things coming from a manufacturer that we build apparatus, we're publicly traded, is really hearing the voices from different perspectives. So I love Paula's kickoff. She's the CEO of CPS Energy. Her energy is amazing. How can you not surge there? But I really enjoyed the conversation about love thy neighbor and the low income, and how, I'm very blessed with my career, so I can afford energy. But there's a great deal of the population that making the decision between eating and energy, and thinking about how in my role maybe I can help with that. It's pretty cool to be here too. It gets me on a different path than maybe the normal business meeting that I'm in. So it was a good first day.
Great, that's good to hear. So it seems that there's this huge trend in the utility for customer engagement.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges and the biggest changes that we have to look forward to?
Well, wow, that's a big question, and we could talk about that for quite a while. But I think the thing, a lot of times people think of utilities as these big companies. And the reality is that distributed energy, the use of solar, wind, and battery storage, is really shrinking the application more and more. And the ability to keep a reliable grid. In the United States, if your power isn't on, you immediately feel like something's been taken from you that you deserve. If you're around the globe,
yeah, from you.
But the reality is we look to have cleaner energy, more efficient energy. It becomes more and more localized. So I think what we're going to see in the future is really this connectivity through digitalization, through information, to allow folks to kind of figure out how they get served by energy in their home, and businesses how they want to interact with their utility. And it's really going to stretch the consumer, the utility, and the suppliers to utilities to think differently in the future. And that's why a conference like this is good for someone like me, where I have a tactical assignment to sell product every day for the company to bring in revenue. But I also have to set the strategic path of where we're going to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years out, and what we do. So it's a pretty good day to be here.
Good. Are there any other trends that you are especially excited about that you're seeing in the industry?
There are, I'll say, more trends in the utility industry than I think people realize. Because it's regulated and each state kind of has their own feel for what they're doing. We had a speaker today from National Grid in the Northeast talking about the multiple examples there. all of us in the utility industry are very familiar with the recent fires in California and the legislation that's gone on there, and how utilities have to react differently in California due to those. And then you have all the technology that's being driven by electric vehicle. And, Eaton has launched an e-mobility platform, and looking and partnering with companies like EPRI and different utilities to how do we use all this battery power that's coming in these mobile platforms, be it a school bus. We've got a really cool little thing we're working on where school buses are idle most of the day. They pick kids up at the beginning of the day. They drop kids off at the end of the day. If you're using a PV or a battery electrical bus, those batteries have the option to maybe feed part of the school during the day, not just recharge. And how do you bring that in to help schools run more efficiently? And so there's so many cool things going on. It's hard to keep up with, frankly.
That is super cool.
It is really hard to keep up with. And so that's why coming to conferences and being engaged with people that look at things differently helps me be a little more successful, and that helps Eaton be a little more successful.
So I know that this is the second day of the conference, so you
Yep.
haven't really gotten to experience the full
Right.
show.
Yeah.
But in your experience with other conferences, what kind of stands out to you as most different or unique or
Well, I
fun?
think if you look at the acronym, it's the ETS19. The T's for thought. Okay, and a lot of conferences are around application. They're around a technical piece. They're not looking at it from the customer view, maybe, or they're trying to narrow into solution. And this is more painting a broader brush. And I don't think there's answers necessarily here. There's probably more questions being generated, but they're questions that if you're not thinking about, you can't find the answers. So for me, the first day, I really left with some notes in my head about, there's some things I need to think about differently. And I actually brought my marketing manager down today. After yesterday, I brought him in, so he'll be here through the rest of the conference just to get a sense for the total flow.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's
Yeah.
thrilling. Lastly, our theme for this year's Energy Thought Summit is Love Your Energy.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What does it mean to you?
It's funny. When I graduated from college a million years ago, I had different opportunities where to go work, and I chose to work for an electrical company because it is incredibly satisfying when you see electricity come on where there hasn't been before, and the ability to know what it empowers, whether it's heat and warmth and security, whether it's commerce, whether it's technology. So for me, this is always kind of a natural theme. I just kind of smiled when you call it Love Your Energy. I'm blessed that I do something for a living that I love, and it has to do with energy. My fear is that I never think broad enough because I look at things. So for me, hearing the different viewpoints helps me think about what really initially intrigued me about the electrical industry, and kind of gives me that surge to be better. And I think the conference is good, and I think we got to figure out a way for more people to realize that energy is this great resource that empowers us to do so much in the United States and in Canada. And we truly are blessed with it. And that's when I think about love. It's a blessing. And so we got to continue to make sure people feel that way. Several of the conversations they talk about when you open that electrical bill at the end of the month, it's not a good situation. So, hopefully we can find a way to help do that in the future. So.
Well, thanks again for being here, Pat. You've been a pleasure to speak to. I've loved hearing all about your passion and your love for the industry. The kudos for the Energy Thought Summit as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope you have a good day.